Drama City Productions presents.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Johnny Paycheck coming at you from the dirty Duval. It's a great day here in the Sunshine State, so I want to jump on and tell you to quit wasting time going to smoke shops and jiffy stores to get your smoking materials. Enjoy your day and have that shit sent right to your house. Keep it simple, stoner. Stop spending all your De Niro, Scratch, Skrilla, whatever you call it, on all that shit too, and go to dollarblazeclub.com and use promo code CWPR25 and get 25% off. That's the highest discount you'll see anywhere. And if there's one thing the Red knows, it's how high. Timbo!
But you might as well go over to the roughneckbeardcompany.com and get you some beard products. Take care of that best friend on your face. He'll thank you for it later. Make sure you use promo code Paycheck13 to save 15% off your next order.
And then you might be able to put in, if they allow you to put multiple codes in there, put Wayne sent me for an additional 10%.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2. What's up, motherfuckers? We're back. Part 2. We're doing it again. If you caught us last episode, you'll know what we're talking about. For all the don'ts, Red, tell them what Part 2 is about.
Man, this is part 2 of Flat Earth. We're going to dive into it one more again. Finish up this 2-part series of the Flat Earth, and we're going to find out where we stand on this thing, man. Finally.
Yep, so we just going to keep it rolling, baby.
So, yeah, here it is. Enjoy part 2 of Flat Earth.
But we are now live and direct. So, where were we? Flat Earth. Is it or is it not?
Is it not?
Well, I mean, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
depends on who you ask.
I'm just saying the Earth's round, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but see, and you know, I'm not 100% convinced that the world is flat.
All right, here's
or round.
all right. So here's the thing, though. What makes you think that it's round?
Because that's what I've been told my whole life.
Right, but what about it, though? What about that idea? One particular thing that sticks out in your mind that makes you believe that the Earth is still round? That you've been taught it your entire life. Nothing sticks out that makes you believe, like one particular point that sticks out that makes you believe that the Earth is round.
No, because this is one of those things that, in my opinion, neither side is able to prove without a shadow of a doubt their theory. Nobody has footage. Okay, so, well, no, let me see. All the videos and the photos, you know, they all look weird.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, how do I trust? From what I've gathered, the research that I've found, it suggests that NASA is merely an entity to cover up the truth that the Earth is flat. So they come up with these images, these videos, and these scenarios, and these missions, you know, and they create all these things through CGI.
If they're creating all these images and all these documents to say that the Earth is round, and that's the doctrine that they've taught since the beginning, shouldn't there be pictures and proof and documentation floating around that the Earth is flat that have been leaked throughout the years? There's no images anywhere that I've seen that proves flat Earth, like actual documentation, the kind of shit that NASA's putting out.
Well, I think it's because
Because I'm curious to know. I mean, what intrigues me about the whole flat Earth thing is I want to know what's on the edge. I want to know what's over that ice wall. Is it wildlings, like Game of Thrones, or is it just emptiness, another dimension? What's there? I want to know.
well, there's
That's
been
what
some
intrigues me
people
about
who
it.
you what?
That's what intrigues me about it. The whole theory.
You got fired up just now, man. I appreciate you being passionate about this topic.
I am because it's a 50-50 thing. Just like you said, neither side can prove 100% either way. But the whole thing, I'm definitely not a flat earther, but I want to know if what they say is true. I want to know what's on the edge. That's the part of it that I want to know. I don't give a shit about everything else, about all the theories about seasons and sunlight and daylight. That shit doesn't interest me as much as what's on the edge. Is it just empty, vast emptiness? Is it, like I said earlier, is it another dimension? Is it, can you fall off of it? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know what the deal is.
I found a video and some information on the internet about a group of people who sailed a cargo vessel to Antarctica, which means that they just went to the outer edge as far as I can go.
Yeah.
And they came across the ice wall, and it was stories high.
Yeah.
Like skyscraper type shit. You know what I mean? But somehow, because we do have some pretty badass technology now, so they were somehow able to repel, or what's the opposite of repel? Instead of going down, they went up.
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I don't know.
I know it, but it's on I can't pull it out. So they ended up getting themselves up, and through the technology that we have, they were also able to hoist up containers. You know what I'm saying? So they had supplies with them, they had shelter and all this good stuff, and they set out on a trek. Trek or track?
Trek.
Trek? Yeah.
Trek. Yeah.
Where's that word come from? A trek.
I don't know.
So they walked, and what they saw was snow. They were walking on snow. And they just walked and walked and walked and walked, and there was nothing. There was nothing past that. It was an infinite walk.
Then it's not a wall.
Right.
It's landmass. Then if it doesn't have an end, then it's just a great big landmass. It's not a wall. A wall has a side, a shelf, and another side.
Right. So
like, immediately.
Well, I was getting to that until I was rudely interrupted.
Speak up a little bit, son. Don't act so shy about
it. So, after a while, they entered a different dimension. So we talk about dimensions, and science says that there are 13 that we know about, that mankind knows about, 13 different dimensions. So when we say the world ends and you can fall off of it, is not a true statement. What it means is that you have the vision as a human being that there is infinite snow and an infinite walk. However, at some point, you leave this dimension and you enter another dimension, which is the same concept for space. So there is no outer space. We have our atmosphere, and then on the outside of our atmosphere is the firmament. And outside of that firmament is another dimension.
What do you call the firmament? Like bubble?
The firmament.
Yeah, the firmament is an actual like a bubble over the plate of flat Earth.
No, it's flat. It's a level. It's water.
Well, this way.
Stay close to the mic.
What's on the outside of it this way?
The firmament covers the whole disk in flat Earth theory.
In a
Above,
dome. In a dome.
if you want to think of it that way, there is water above us. That is the only way I can explain it. Whatever.
That's the threshold into another dimension is a layer of water.
Well, once you pass the water, as human beings, we can't get past that firmament. We cannot leave our atmosphere. We cannot leave the firmament. We can't get to. There's nothing out there. It's another dimension, according to flat Earth theory.
So what is able to pass through it? Nothing.
Nothing.
Huh.
Now, on accident, some things come through it, and sometimes,
Accident.
yeah. So, dimensions, and picture a strand of spaghetti. Okay, and shake it with it dangling. Shake it, so it does like a snake effect, right? These parallels run close to one another, multiple dimensions, side by side each other, and they're all squiggling like a snake running through the sand.
Okay.
Every now and then, those snakes bump. So two dimensions parallel to one another, they bump into each other. And that's how you see things, aliens. That's how you experience deja vu, because what's going on right now in our dimension is also going on in another dimension. It's all about time and space. You know what I mean?
The time-space continuum.
Yes.
So you're saying that nothing can get through it, but sometimes stuff does.
Well, because the elite, the people who control the world, our economic system, the banking systems, mainstream media, social media, NASA, the government, everything, you know, they may have found a way to enter different dimensions.
We talking about a time machine here, Paycheck?
Well, kind of, but so the technology boost that we've experienced over the past decade has been ridiculous, right? It's like all of a sudden we got this new toy, and it's new and it's badass, and we can do a lot of shit with it. Look at our military. Look at all the new technology that we've accumulated just over the past, let's say, 2 decades, ever since the internet came out, which was what, in the 90s?
I don't know what's going on. You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. You just stay close to that mic.
I'm trying, man.
So yeah, that's what I believe. Well, that's not what I believe. That's the huh?
The bold statement.
Yeah, it's not what I believe. It's the information that I've accumulated. That's the long and short of it. You know what I mean? That's the flat Earth theory. Now I will say this: since I've received all this information, I'm not a believer of either one at the moment. That's how overwhelming this flat Earth theory has become in my world. Dude, I've been researching this shit for 10 years.
So you just believe you're just here then. If you don't believe in round Earth, you don't believe in flat Earth, you don't believe in all that shit that comes with it, you're just here. Yeah.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another reason why somebody wants you to believe that the world is round. If the world is flat, we were put here by design, by our creator, and each one of us are special. and we have a meaning and we have a purpose. And there's hope and there's love and there's joy and there's sadness and there's hurt. Did I say hurt twice? I don't know if I said hurt twice. Damn, I got sidetracked. Oh, so if the flat earth is true, then we are all children of God and we're special and we have a purpose and all that stuff. Somebody doesn't want us to think that anymore. So they've created this round earth. So now instead of you being special, now you're just a little speck in the grand scheme of things when you consider galaxies and universes and, you know what I mean, and all this infinite space. So there's a good versus evil, kind of like a God versus Lucifer kind of tug of war match that's been going on according to scripture since the beginning of time. So now that snake is now the same thing, but instead of it being here in a snake form, it is now here in a controlling entity form. The Cabal, the Illuminati, whoever you want to tag with it. Maybe a combination of all of them.
What does that got to do with flat Earth, though? Is there anywhere in the Bible that talks about flat Earth?
Yes. From what I understand, as far back as people could write and draw, the world has always been described as flat.
But is it written in the Bible anywhere that talks about the Earth being flat? Is there? I mean, not in so many words, but
yes, absolutely, many times, if I'm not mistaken. Now listen. Here's the crazy thing.
I legitimately don't know. That's why I was asking. I don't know the Bible enough to know whether there's talk about flat Earth in the Bible or not.
Right. Well, here's an important part of it. In order to really grasp all the information, you have to be able to receive information. So when you're reading the Bible, you have to know how to read the Bible and what that Bible is saying and in what context it is being said and the time period in which it's being said. So when somebody says something about the world being flat way back, in AD or you know what I mean, way back, they're not going to use this. They're not going to be able to describe it the way we would describe it. So while they're writing scripture, while these books are being written, they're gonna the Bible is written in parables. It tells a story. So it's not going to come out flat out and say, we the people of, Jordan, or,
that was the worst imitation of Bible dialect I've ever heard.
So when you read this, and I'll try to find it and I'll try to put it on Instagram, but there is a book in scripture that talks about the earth being flat and how the moon works and the sun works, and there's also, matter of fact, it is very detailed described. It was described in detail in the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch tells you exactly how the sun and the moon work and how they are not going up and down, they're actually going, left to right. So the book of Enoch, he describes it to the T.
The book of Enoch.
Yeah, which is a book that was removed from the Holy Bible by the Vatican, along with many other ones. Now, again, I know we're talking about flat Earth, but you have to understand that a lot of this other stuff is proof. So instead of scientific proof, you have to look at proof in the information sense. So there's a plethora of information that suggests that the world is flat in all aspects of life. Religion, science, you know what I mean? What's another one? Shit, I don't know.
But let's keep in mind that there are also the same amount of things like that say the earth is round.
Right. So here's what makes everything different today. Back in the day, we relied on the government to tell us what is real and what's not real through the curriculum that is given to our school systems.
Mhm.
Due to the technology boom that we've went through in the past 20 years, we are not now able to do a lot of this investigating and research ourselves. We don't necessarily have to rely on, some guy in a lab coat or, I mean, there's guys that are doing this research and doing these experiments, contradicting what the government has told us, in many different areas of our life. Look at food, for example. The government tells us what foods are healthy and what foods are not healthy. So we're not allowed to eat this. We're not allowed, legally, like it's illegal to eat horse here in the United States, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay, so they're telling us what to eat. They're telling us everything.
Why would you want to eat a domesticated animal, though? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, you wouldn't, but it's
I mean, in times of survival, I'll eat probably just about anything. But it's frowned upon to eat horses, just like it's frowned upon to eat dogs and cats and shit like that.
yeah, but my point is that we are controlled so much, and we're told what to believe, and we're told what is real. Back in the day, with food, this is good for you. Eggs was good for you, then eggs wasn't good for you, and now eggs are good for you. You know what I mean? So,
They have to be free range chickens.
well, anything free, most, and see, and that's yeah, absolutely. So what happens is that they are poisoning our foods, whether if it's intentionally or not. It's being done. Now they try to hide behind the fact that they are putting these chemicals in for shelf life. So now we have processed shit and byproducts. You know what I mean? None of this stuff isn't real, but when you add it to real food, now the shelf life becomes longer. So eventually, these scientists now they've found a way to remove all the natural and real shit and only have the processed and the byproduct stuff, and now that's what we're eating.
Hmm.
Why? Population control. So they want people who are. So you have weak-minded. It's like what is it? What is it? The herd, weaning out the herd or whatever.
Thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd. Okay, so in a global sense, we want to survive as human beings, as mankind. So we want to eliminate or get rid of those who are less than us, less physically fit, less educated. They depend on the sheep. So they depend on these sheep, and they depend on these sheep making poor decisions. These poor decisions are obesity, disease, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, addictions. You know what I mean? That thins the herd out. That gets rid of the weak-minded. That gets rid of the physically weak people. You know what I mean? It's population control. Do you realize that a 2-liter bottle of Coke you can get for less than $1, maybe $1?
Yeah.
A bottled water, 12 fluid ounces, will cost you $2-3.
Yeah, maybe if you buy like the Fiji water or these vitamin infused waters and all that shit, you go buy you a little bottle of Dollar General water, ain't
Yeah,
gonna cost you but about $1. So
yeah, but you go to McDonald's and a salad will cost you a few dollars.
yeah.
I can go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger for $1.
Hmm.
Because they want those who are making the poor decisions, that would choose to put that crap in their body, as opposed to putting something good in their body. They want them to get sick. They want them to go to the doctor. Then they want that doctor to prescribe medication. So then they go to the pharmacy. It's a big circle. It's a big circle jerk, and it's all about control, power, and money.
And that's the full circle of flat Earth.
Well, now, again, I've said this multiple times, but I want to reiterate, I am not a flat earther.
I didn't say you were. I'm just saying all that is to say it's one big circle of
Yeah.
conspiracy and secret.
But here's the thing. This isn't new. None of this shit is new. This has been going on since the beginning of time. It just changes the face changes. So in the beginning of time, it was the snake, and Adam and Eve. So we are Adam and Eve. We are descendants of Adam and Eve, biblically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that snake has also, um,
When you say snake, you're referring to evil, correct?
right, Lucifer specifically.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's take it a stretch further. Okay, and believe me, this has a lot to do with flat Earth. So in the beginning of time, or before time, before the Earth was made, God was planning to make the Earth, and He said, "I am going to make man in my image, our image, even." He was talking about his right hand man, his left hand man, his confidants, his counsel. So you have archangels, and you have Lucifer was like a right hand man. You know what I mean? So he was a jealous person. Yeah, angel. Some even say a god.
Okay.
Okay, so he got 200 other angels to rebel against God, and they all went to Earth. Earth is, biblically speaking, Earth is Lucifer's domain. He rules over Earth. God rules over heaven. Satan rules over Earth. It says, biblically speaking, it says that in the Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been a fight, good versus evil, since the beginning of time. So they want us to think that the world is round. They want it to be.
Who is they?
Lucifer and his army, demons and shit.
Why is that on the top of his list?
Okay, so you take Lucifer cannot defeat God. Would you, as a Christian man, would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if you can't um, defeat God, what's the next best thing?
Yeah, you get to his people, but what's the priority in that? That's just, I would think on a list of Lucifer's deceptions, flat Earth would be down there at the bottom somewhere.
No,
I mean, what makes that high priority to where it's got to be that important to where he's blamed for it?
it's because Lucifer doesn't want you to believe in God. He doesn't want you to believe that there's a heaven. He doesn't want you to believe that you've been given the gift of salvation. So he does that by slowly manipulating the masses. So we can go back generations and generations and generations. Let's say your great grandpa was at elementary school, right? And he walked in and he saw the globe sitting on the teacher's desk. So he asks about it, and the teacher tells him, "This is what our world looks like." So let's say that at that point, that teacher lied to him, and that was not true. That was just a representation of Earth, and Earth is flat. But that teacher told him that this is what the world actually looks like. So your great grandpa grew up learning that and thinking that, and he told his son, and his son told his son, and his son told his son, all the way down to you. You're going to think I'm crazy if I told you otherwise, right?
Yeah, but I don't understand where you're going with that.
It's because there's a deception going on, and it's all about good versus evil. It's all about Lucifer wanting to turn God's people from God. So slowly you start manipulating the masses, and you start giving them little tidbits at a time. You know what I mean? Okay, now the world is round. Okay, and slowly, sure. Wait. Let me get to it. Slowly but surely, through time, you are no longer a beautiful, special individual put here by God with a purpose and with love and all that good stuff. Now, because the world is round, Lucifer wants you to think it's round because he wants you to think that there is multiple galaxies and solar systems and infinite space, and there's so much more out there, and all of a sudden you become a little less special. So now you start to question about how special you are and what your purpose is and what your life is, because you're just a small little speck in the grand scheme of things. So then they start removing God from schools, and they start, removing God from your personal life and stuff. So now, and think about how many atheists there are now compared to back in the day. 2-3 generations ago, how big was church in our family in the South?
Pretty big.
Okay, now what about now?
Not so much.
Right. So it's a long thought out plan by Lucifer since the beginning of time to gain the same power that God has, because he's jealous of God and he wants to be God. He wants to be God-like, but he can't be. So he does everything in his power to create this God-like feeling within himself by controlling and defeating God's people. So that snake that started in the garden is now in the White House. He's in Congress. He's the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans. Listen, it all ties in together. So it is still going on. Think about what's going on in society right now. Churches, religion, all that stuff's being removed from, schools and public places, and you can only pray right now. No, it's not bad where I'm at. I pray at restaurants. It's not I pray everywhere. Like it's no secret about my faith, and nobody's ever said anything to me about it. So, but again, that's the my theory on the flat earth theory.
Yeah, we just talking about flat Earth, man. We ain't trying to get. I mean, it's informational. Don't get me wrong. But
you have to understand one thing to understand another thing, and this is why I think, in my opinion, this is why there are not more flat earthers, is because people, they don't want to get caught up in that rabbit hole. They'll get to this and it'll intrigue them, and they'll go to this and they'll go, like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years, this whole flat earth shit. And one thing leads to another and to another, but as you're going down this rabbit hole, that next bend in that hole, now it makes sense about that bend that you went by, a little while ago. Now some of the questions that you've had are being answered. So you can't just look at flat earth. You have to look at scripture. You have to look at history.
Yeah, but not everybody believes in scripture.
Right, but if you run scripture,
that's not the only theory.
Right, but listen to me. But if you run scripture parallel to science, they both science proves scripture. Now remove God from it, remove Jesus as the Messiah.
To a point, it does. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So science has proven that there was a Jesus Christ that walked this earth. Now, whether if he was the Messiah, that's neither here nor there for this conversation, but science is able to say that these things happened.
Absolutely. But there's no, just like we went, but like before, you can't push the religion theory down everybody's throat. Not talking about you, just the theory in general. Not talking about you in pushing anything down anybody's throat. Just the theory in general of flat Earth going back to Scripture. Not everybody believes that.
Right.
So that can't be the one and only theory and the one and only answer to it.
Right. Well, here's what separates the two. Either you believe in God or you believe in the Big Bang Theory. So, for me personally, at 43 years old, experiencing the things that I've experienced, knowing the things that I know, I find it highly unlikely for some Big Bang, and I'm familiar with the Big Bang Theory, And I just don't think it's possible for something like that, something so impersonal, to create this.
You realize that some of the same material that make up stars also make up you, right? You realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's internally. That's the subconscious. You know what I mean? That light inside you.
Oh,
That
that's physical material.
right. I understand that. But again, that's the electrical, if you will, of a house. That's the electrical. That's the inside of us. That has nothing to do with our physical.
Yes, it does.
Right. Yeah. I don't believe that.
The same physical chemicals that are in stars, it's been proven.
No. How okay. So
Science, the same thing that you said lines up with scripture.
okay. Right.
That's
So,
proven.
but nowhere did it. That is not in scripture anywhere.
What?
What you just said.
It doesn't have to be in scripture.
I thought you said that. I thought you said it did. I thought you said it was.
No, 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 no. No, just because it's not in scripture doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right. So, two things. Our genetic makeup, our DNA, is not what is similar to the stars.
No, the material, the nutrients, the compounds that make up the human body have the same chemical makeup as a star.
Okay. Okay. I find that to be irrelevant information.
Big Bang Theory,
Uh,
that's what we were talking about, right?
right. But then if there was no consciousness, I would agree with you. But our
That has nothing to
consciousness,
do with consciousness.
I know, but I know,
That's genetic, physical makeup.
right? I understand that, and I would agree with you if we were only talking about our genetic makeup. However, we have a conscience. That conscience has nothing to do with the Big Bang Theory. There's
No,
no,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
there's no way. Okay, so how could we be here and be made up of the same whatever that the stars are, but we have a conscience? That conscience comes from something other than the Big Bang. The Big Bang can't create this consciousness that's within me and within you.
Evolution.
Good point. That is true.
Single cell organisms.
Hmm.
They move. They compound together. They strategically place themselves. They are living single cell beings, and they evolve into having a consciousness.
See, I don't think so. I think we are all born with a conscience. You know, when you're a little kid, when your dad's yelling at your mom, you know that's bad. You know something's wrong.
Yeah, now, yeah, that's exactly that's what's evolved from the single cell organism that we became, that we came from.
Okay, well let's take it back as far as we can take it. Let's go prehistoric. Let's say that caveman days. So do you think that that little caveman boy, his little fucking tea leaf, his little green leaf covering his little pecker, do you think he would know if his mom and dad yelling was a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes.
Okay, do you think he would experience?
Way before caveman. I'm talking about when it was just sludge and gas covering the earth. I'm talking about single cell organism from which we came from according to the Big Bang theory. I'm talking about
Okay,
way
so
caveman. By caveman days, they evolved into a conscience and a knowing of right and wrong through evolution.
well, what if I told you? Let me ask you this then. Let's go down this little road here. Humor me for a second.
Okay.
Biblically speaking, God created uh, the heavens and the earth and man.
Okay.
How how did he do that? The Big Bang. He created the Big Bang, and the heaven was created, and the earth was created, and man was created during this Big Bang. God said, I created the heavens and the earth. Now, did he do that with a Big Bang? So the Big Bang Theory is nice, but I could use the Big Bang Theory to for my benefit. I mean, argumentatively speaking, I could use it to my benefit and say that okay, the Big Bang did happen, and that is actually how God created the heavens and the earth, the sun, and and all that stuff.
So what was before the Big Bang? Just vast emptiness and a
Yep.
and a one single entity.
Yes, because I am, which means I am everything. I am in everything, and I am everything.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about before this alleged God-made Big Bang that you're talking about.
Right.
What was he doing before the Big Bang? Was he bored? Was he tired of being alone, just floating around in vast emptiness?
Yeah, I don't know.
Decided to make him a little bit of something?
Maybe, maybe because if now I'm going way out here in left field. So if you're self-aware and you know about chakras, you know about meditation, you know about outer body experiences, and what was that one thing you were talking about that you used to do quite frequently?
Astral projection.
Astral projection, reincarnation, the whole we are all one concept. So who's to say that my consciousness, your consciousness, or mankind's consciousness, uh, was not God?
Well, what is it?
No, it is God. What if that's God?
Your consciousness?
Yes. Like. So you're saying that
What if
what?
Godzilla was a little bitty lizard? I mean,
What does that have to do with anything?
yeah. What does God being the consciousness have to do with anything? What if?
Because you asked me what was God before. Okay, so what about before, he built, the heavens and the earth and everything. So what I'm saying is that due to reincarnation and the whole we are all one, and I am, God says I am. That means I am everything. I am in everything. So this consciousness that we have is God. So before mankind, before heaven and the earth or whatever, I am. It was a a love is the only way I can explain it. Like a a consciousness. You know what I mean? Like like we talk about nature being alive, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we talk about stars being alive, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that's alive. It is. I am. So the stars was God. So before Earth, the stars and the
Okay, the scripture says God created the heavens and the earth. The heavens meaning the universe.
right,
So before the Big Bang, none of that existed. The stars and all that came from the Big Bang. So what was before the Big Bang? Just vast emptiness and nothingness and a conscience and a consciousness.
right, a consciousness, a light.
Hmm.
It's beautiful, man. See, if you think about it being flat, and you think about us as a humankind. Now let's go in another direction with this. Let's talk about aliens.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on just a second, though. Just back
All
up
right.
just a second. What about planets? So Earth is the only flat planet amongst all these other round ones?
Yes. So what it is that
Wait, why would just one planet be flat and the rest of them be round?
okay. So when you create something, when you build something that has moving parts. There's one part is required for this part to work. One thing is required for this to work. So in order for our world to operate and work the way it does, for us to have oxygen, for gravitational purposes, if you will. I'm speculating, of course. So these all play a role. These planets that we're talking about,
Hmm.
um, they're where they are and what they are and how they are for the direct purpose of mankind living on Earth.
What?
Yeah, they're there. They're there for a purpose.
That ain't got shit to do with what I ask you. Why are they all round and Earth being flat? Why make one fucking flat plate Earth and the rest of them be round?
I would imagine that
Because
because
it wasn't first. Earth wasn't the prototype.
well, it's because you have the disk, flat Earth. That is
Yeah.
the main object here. So in order for that main object to work, it needs things, right? Just like when you build something, you need material. Okay, when you're working with things that have moving parts in it, you're going to need this part to make this part work to make this part work. So those are put in place as spheres or whatever they are. You're saying that they're spheres, and why are they spheres? Them being spheres have nothing to do with this flat disk. They're there for a purpose. I'm not sure what the purpose is. Maybe it's to control the currents. Maybe it's for to control earthquakes. I have no idea. But it is just a piece of the operating system of flat Earth.
So if the rest of the planets are round and Earth is flat, did Earth uh, used to be round and asteroids and whatnot beat it down to a flat plate?
Oh, no, dude,
I'm,
are you being serious right now?
yeah, I'm being completely serious. Why would the rest of the planets be portrayed as globes and Earth just be portrayed as flat just because they say it's flat?
Okay, well, listen to this. So,
The,
you're telling me
the moon is a ball.
the
Why,
what?
the moon is a ball. The sun is a ball.
Right.
Why not Earth? The
Okay.
rest of everything else is a ball. Why not Earth?
Well, first of all, when you're talking about the sun and the moon being a ball, they are moving around clockwise on around the flat Earth, and what moves better through the air, a sphere or a square?
Right. So why is the Earth flat?
Listen, you're trying to bring up planets being round to combat the Earth being flat. Is the same thing as saying why is bread this texture and an orange is this texture? They're two separate things. I don't understand why you're putting those two
Earth
together.
is a planet. Mars is a planet.
Okay,
Venus is a planet.
right,
Rest of these, even flat earthers will tell you that all these fucking planets are round.
right. Okay,
But
now listen to
but
this.
but wait a minute. But for some weird fucking reason, the Earth is flat amongst all these other spheres floating around in the galaxy.
Yeah, you see? Can you see this hand right here?
Uh huh.
What is on them? What is on that hand right there? What are these?
Fingers.
Okay, you see this one right here?
Mm-hmm.
You see how different that one is than this one right here?
But it's the same shape.
No, but listen to me. They're the
That's
same.
poor
They're
fucking,
wait a
that's
minute.
a poor example.
Wait a minute. They're all fingers. Yeah, this one's way different. You know what I mean? This one's different than that one. Look how different that one is. So if these are fingers, why in the world would one be different than the other?
Dude, for evolution purposes.
See, listen. What I
Dude,
just
it's the
you're
same fucking
contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not. It's the same fucking thing.
No,
One is longer than the other.
you're saying
A plate and a fucking ball are two totally different things. That right there is the same fucking thing. It's a finger.
right.
But for grabbing limbs and climbing and shit, you evolved into having these. It's the same fucking thing. That ain't got nothing to do with why the Earth is flat and the rest of the fucking planets are spherical.
Well, let's say this is a planet. You're using the word planet. So let's say that this flat Earth is a planet, just like Mars and Jupiter and all that stuff. But Earth just happens to be a flat planet. Is that highly that like Why is that so hard to believe?
In a lineup of round balls, a plate is going to stick the fuck out.
Yeah, I know, but first of all, you're telling me that all these planets are round, okay? But nobody's like you have done no research on like you have never seen. You're going by what somebody told you that they saw through their telescope.
I've been watching flat Earth videos since we've been talking about this, and I just watched one the other night that had a dude on there that was a complete fucking flat earther, and he was talking about planets and how they were round.
Right. Okay, so again,
Flat earthers believe that there are round fucking planets, spherical planets out there floating around in the solar system, but
yeah,
Earth happens to be flat.
yeah, I understand that. My point is that two things. Number one, why does it matter what the other planets? Why would what the other planets look like dictate what our planet's supposed to look like?
Because it's odd.
Space is odd.
According to the Big Bang Theory, and all this, creation of planets, creation of solar system, out of, what is it, 9 of them motherfuckers or something? They're all round but one. That don't make that. This doesn't. It doesn't fit.
Okay, so let's count what we know. Okay, so Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Earth, the Sun, the Moon. Okay, is that enough?
Sure. I don't know where you're going with it, but okay.
All right. So out of these 7 things, they also involve. Okay, so one of them is flat.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 5 of these things. Oh wait, 1 out of 6.
7, whatever.
I know, but there were 7 total.
Sure.
One,
Yeah.
1 out of 6 is flat. So in the grand scheme of things, if what you're saying, well, wait. I just don't understand. I understand what you're saying, and I get it. Okay, so it seems odd that out of those 7 things, all of them are round. That's what they're telling us anyway. I mean, I've never seen Jupiter myself.
Right.
Have you ever seen Jupiter yourself?
No, not personally. No.
So you're going off what? Who's telling you? Who's telling you that Jupiter is round?
Who's telling you the Earth is flat, dude? Same fucking people. We've already been
Nobody.
through it a million times.
Right. So my whole mindset is I believe what like I just can't believe what somebody's telling me. I got to figure it out. So I don't want to believe what the government tells me.
You're reading all this shit off the same fucking internet I am. So we're getting the information from the same fucking place.
Yeah, but the difference is that I've been
Valid.
doing this for 10 years. But the difference is I've been doing this for about 10 years. You've only been doing it for a few months.
It's nothing to do with anything. It's the same fucking information.
No, it's not. Dude, what?
It
You-
is. It's the same.
You're telling me that the information that you've accumulated in these short months is the same as the information that I've come
You
across.
think this is the first time I've ever come across this shit in my lifetime? Just because we got a podcast?
Okay, so you're telling me that you've looked into this before.
Yeah.
Okay, so why would you look into it if it's so? Why would you look into it if it's so?
Because it's interesting.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's definitely interesting.
I mean, why did you look into it? It's the same fucking information. We're getting in as you say, who controls the internet?
No, here's why I looked into it. Because I grew
controls the internet?
Wait a minute. The reason I looked into it is because I was raised in a military family. So in a military family, I was taught
privy to secrets. Yeah.
not secrets. I was taught propaganda and agenda. So that's what intrigued me. So I wanted to know what that meant. So I started looking into that. And that's my mindset when I do research. What is the truth? So when I don't only watch flat earth videos. I also watch round earthers. Is that a thing? Is that what it's called?
Where's it coming from, though, man?
Where's what coming from?
All this information that you've been gathering for 10 years. You didn't read it in a fucking encyclopedia. You got it off the internet. The same place that the information comes from that tells me everything that I've been taught my entire life, and you. It's the same place.
No, it's not true. Where mine is coming from is that I know that I was told things in school. I also know now that those people that were in charge of telling us these things, the people who would tell the teachers what they're supposed to teach us and everything, they're not very trustworthy these days. So now I question, how long has this untrustworthiness been going on? Has it been going on since the beginning of time? Has it been going on since the beginning of government? So what we know about the government right now, who our government is, not our commander-in-chief and his staff, the administration. I'm talking about, in general, the government, the United States government, has proven itself to be untrustworthy. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so that leads me to down the next rabbit hole is, how long has this been going on? And in what areas of my life have they been affecting? So I start breaking it down. So I start with religion. People think that the book is written by man, and that's why they don't believe it. And that's true to a certain extent. We just talked about how books were removed from the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and some things may have been lost in translation, right? So they are rewriting or omitting things out of Scripture for a reason. When I go to school and they tell me about the wars and why these wars, when you went to school, wasn't it suggested, now I may be wrong on this because I'm a little older, but wasn't it suggested that the Civil War happened because of slavery?
No.
But wouldn't you think that that'd be a general, like a consensus from the people? Don't you think a majority of people think that the Civil War was fought because of slavery?
Probably just because of,
Ignorance.
well, no, just what they've been taught.
Right. By who? Schools, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong now. Don't just leave me out here.
No, I mean, but that's not what it was about. I don't know where you're going with that, but that's not what the Civil War was about. But the majority of people would probably think that it's because of slavery, because that's what they were taught by teachers and whoever.
So my point is that the government hasn't really been trustworthy now, and when I think back about the government and them being trustworthy or not, yeah. So why would I believe what the government? So the government funds NASA. The government funds the curriculum, our education system, right?
Government funds the fucking internet that you get this information from.
No, that's not entirely true.
Yes, it is.
No, that is not true. Matter of fact, there are news broadcasters, news stations who are strictly independent, and they are not funded by the government. One of them is
I didn't say the program on the internet. I said the internet.
yeah, because again, the whole controlling thing of it.
What goes on it?
Right. Well, and that's the whole control factor again. They want to control what you see. We all know that. Well, that's a completely different. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
And we've been down a pretty deep fucking rabbit hole tonight.
So, in to wrap this up, I don't claim all this stuff to be fact. This is just stuff that I've come across in the 10 years, and it makes it. And now I grew up thinking the world was round, and all I'm saying is that today, I don't believe it to be flat or round.
What is it then?
I don't know.
A donut?
I don't know.
That would be.
It is what it is. We don't have the technology to leave this earth far enough to where we can get a good idea of what this earth really is.
Sure we can.
No.
Sure we can.
The government says we can, but due to technology and social media and the internet and everything, people are able to do their own research and do their own experiments, and a large majority of these experiments that are being done are proving that we have been lied to.
Yeah, I find that to be bullshit.
Well, I mean, one day we're going to find out. I think.
I'm not picking sides. I'm not calling names, but you have got to be a pretty ignorant motherfucker to believe that we haven't been to the moon, we haven't left the Earth, or any of that. We've got the technology right now to talk to one another 500 miles away. Okay? We've got the technology to bounce radio frequency off of satellites to create cell phone calls whenever there used to be landline cables. And that was still a fucking miracle in that time. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that we ain't been to the fucking moon and we ain't left the Earth. I mean, come on.
Okay, so now let's think about the technology today and compare it to the technology available when we went to the moon. Do you know what year we went to the moon?
1962, 60 something, 62, I think.
So do you think we had this same technology that we have now back then?
It's not, we don't have to have, we had enough technology to get ourselves to the moon. We don't have to have the technology we have now to get there. We had enough technology. I mean, they were creating televisions and broadcast waves and all that kind of shit. So that kind of technology was fucking amazing back then. And whenever, the race with Russia to get something in space came along, they had to advance the technology a little faster than normal to get something up there. I mean, it's crazy to think we've never been to the moon, dude. It's crazy to think we've never left the Earth in a spacecraft. I mean, we're flying fucking airplanes.
Yep.
Why can't we create one that'll go just a little bit higher than an airplane and leave the Earth's atmosphere?
It's so crazy.
You know what I mean?
It's so crazy that when somebody has a conversation with you in rebuttal to all that, they're crazy.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm saying the whole thing is crazy because I believe that the Earth is round. I believe we've been to the moon. I believe we've left the Earth's atmosphere. But when you talk about flat Earth and the whole concept behind it, what intrigues me is what's past it. Not that there's a flat Earth. I don't give a shit about that because I believe another way. But what I want to know is what's beyond it.
Another dimension.
How do you know that? You just said that a tanker pulled up, climbed the wall, and it was just vast emptiness. That's not a wall. That's not an ending to anything. That's just a fucking land mass, like I said earlier.
No, you didn't let me finish. They found another dimension. They entered in another dimension. That's why.
You said it was just vast emptiness, snow, and all that kind of shit. You never said there was another dimension. You just said we couldn't cross into that other dimension.
Because you didn't let me finish.
You need to get your story straight.
That's because you didn't let me finish.
It's finished. It's still the whole timeline. It doesn't make sense.
They climbed the wall and they walked and they walked and they walked.
And until all of a sudden they've seen another dimension.
Yeah, they entered, and so listen to me.
Later on in the conversation.
So because of that, did you know that it is illegal to travel to Antarctica now?
What do you mean? It's not illegal to travel to Antarctica. What are you talking about?
Sure it is. I guarantee you, if you set sail to Antarctica or try to fly to Antarctica, you will be met with the United States military, whether if it's by boat or by jet. Guaranteed.
I think cruise ships go right by it all the time.
Yeah, but to specific places.
They have military bases on Antarctica. There's stations of scientists set up with these pods and shit. There's places all over the Antarctica that are protected.
Yep, exactly. Did you know that multiple countries provide security, if you will, for Antarctica?
Like a border patrol.
Globally.
Like a border patrol, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's made up of all the countries. So why would all these countries form a security agency to keep you from entering or getting?
I'm gonna have to see documentation on that.
Yeah, look it up. Listen. I suggest everyone look up all this stuff that we're talking about because the information is out there. A lot of people just don't know what to look for or how to read through the bullshit. This is where information literacy comes in at. You got to know what a credible website is and what's not. Most of the time, if you come across, now here's where again it gets a little tricky. Those who are critical thinkers and intelligent, we've been taught to, there are URL addresses. There are like .gov is supposed to be a reliable, credible. What is it? .md or .med or something like that. So these are supposed to be credible websites where you could obtain information for school papers and it be reliable, credible, cited information. But now, because we've entered or we've brought the whole government not being very trustworthy, that's where that comes into the equation. So this information that people would look for to try to find out about, the truth or whatever, again, they're being manipulated by the government in the information, that they're receiving because before .gov was a credible, reliable source, but not so much anymore. Listen, a governmenting body has an agenda. Whether if it's a good agenda or a bad agenda, it's called goals, it's called plans, it's called direction. What direction do we want to go in? What is our goal as a country? What is our goal as mankind, globally speaking? So globally speaking, if you have all the leaders of all these foreign countries, they come together and they say, okay, what is our goal for mankind? What I mean? It's like a round table of all the foreign bodies, you know what I mean?
That would be the UN, would it not?
Right. So that UN is they're all going to work together for a specific reason, one big reason, the end all be all, the biggest secret in the world. It is not going to benefit the leaders of the world for mankind to know the truth. The only way these leaders of the world are going to be able to live the lifestyles that they want to and create the destinies that they want to for their kids and their kids, you know what I mean, for their name. Look at all these big names, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the JP Morgans. They have been these families have been around for forever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm losing you, man. I feel like, it's like...
What all this has got to do with flat Earth, man. We're talking about flat Earth. We're not talking about the Rothschilds and JP Morgan. They ain't got shit to do with fucking flat Earth.
Yes, they do, bro. That's what I've been talking about for the past hour.
They ain't got nothing to do with... They didn't make it. They didn't create it. They didn't come up with it. They don't have anything to do with it.
But they can manipulate you into thinking that it's round.
They can also manipulate your motherfucking ass into believing it's flat, too. Or that don't happen in flat Earth world.
No. Society says it's round.
And a certain part of society says it's flat.
Listen, your debating skills are, they need some work.
Dude, it's black and white. There's no, you don't have to be a fucking master debater in order to get this. This is black and white, dude.
It is not black and white.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because you either believe think about what a governing body is. What is the main goal of a governing body?
Governing body doesn't have shit to do with the creation of flat Earth. It ain't got shit to do with nothing.
Right. It does not, but it does have something to do with the creation of the round Earth. They created the round Earth, according to the flat Earth theory, of course. This isn't my opinion.
Yeah. It's subjective.
Yeah. Seriously, it is subjective. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is facts. You know what I mean? Because
I've never one time said that what I'm saying is facts, but it's the other side of the coin.
Right, but you saying that it's black and white is ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Listen,
the concept and theory of flat Earth is black and white.
No. If you have done the research and put in the time that I have, you will know fairly quickly that it is not black and white. There's a lot of gray going on.
I don't have to have years and years and years of research like Paycheck does in order to know that it's black and white. It's a two-sided coin. It's this or that.
No, it's not true.
It's not that complex. We're talking about the creation and the theory of flat Earth. That's it. This whole talk of J.P. Morgan and the Rothschilds and all that shit has nothing to do with it.
Listen, you keep talking, you keep saying, now listen to me now because you're starting to piss me off because you're not listening.
I am listening. I'm listening to everything you're saying.
But you keep saying the creation of flat Earth. You're right. Nothing, the government, the cabal, the Illuminati, none of that has anything to do with the creation of flat Earth. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. They have nothing to do with the creation of flat Earth. This is relevant because they are the ones responsible for creating the round Earth. Listen, the world is flat. It has always been flat. All of a sudden, a couple of these guys, they all come up and they said, "Hey, we want world domination. We want to control everything globally." So they tell you that the world is round. So to remove you, it's all about removing God from the equation.
Why couldn't that same agenda be flipped around and pushed down flat Earth people's throats the same way?
Because society already says that the world is round, dude. What are you talking about? We're talking about is society and the government and the governing bodies and scientists, are they right or are the flat earthers right?
So we've come full circle then, is what you're saying. That's
No.
what we've been talking about this entire time.
No, you have, because you're talking about, in your mind, you're thinking the world is round and somebody is saying that the world is flat. I'm saying that, no, I'm not. According to the flat earth theory.
You don't want to tie your name to that shit, do you?
Yeah, because look, I don't know, because dude, I can't leave this atmosphere either. I have never seen fucking Mars in person with my own bare eyes. I've never seen it. All the stuff that we're talking about right now, you can tell me shit all day. This fucking teacher in elementary school can tell me all day long, but she ain't never seen the motherfucker either. Nor have I, nor have you, nor have that scientist with his fucking little fucking lab coat. So I don't believe anything that those motherfuckers are telling me, because you know what they call a scientist that made C's in school, right?
That joke has been on like 9 episodes.
They call him a scientist.
Yeah. So that's not even funny anymore.
Okay, so you're depending on science to tell you what is real and what is not real. So one of those scientists that you're listening to got fucking C's in school, bro. So how am I gonna believe this motherfucker? I'm supposed to believe this scientist and him telling me that according to our research, that we've discovered that the world is fucking round, bro. It's fucking round. Okay. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Scientist guy. But real quick, what kind of grades did you get to become this fucking scientist that you are, man?
That's got
Oh,
all to do with anything.
I barely passed. I really didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? I kind of sailed through it, made some C's. You know what I mean? Enough to pass. But
All
here
right.
I am. Here I am. I'm a fucking scientist, and
All
I'm
right.
telling you what's real and what's not real.
All right. So, the scientists that are telling me all this shit, okay, who's telling you all this shit? Who's telling you all this stuff? Where are you getting it from? You better not say Encyclopedia Britannica.
I got it from the idea of. Yeah, listen, dude, it all starts with an idea.
Yeah,
So,
tell me where you got it from then.
okay, the idea that everything that I have learned about this topic was taught to me early in life through school. When you go to kindergarten, first grade, and you start talking about, the earth, you draw little photos of the earth, you know what I mean? You are told that the world is round. I was also told that President Lincoln was a great guy. But, we now know that that wasn't entirely true because he only freed the slaves for political purposes, for to get more votes, and he was involved in in many different slaughters of people over taxes, over money.
What the fuck does that have to do with flat Earth?
It all has to do with it all. The government, listen,
Get
here's
the
what,
information from. That's all I ask you.
listen, here's the problem is that you're high and that you're not following along with me.
I am completely following along with you. I ask you a question, you've yet to answer it.
Yeah, because you're not following along with me. I just told you that it all starts with an idea. Where did I learn this stuff from, right? Where did I see this
All
stuff,
right,
right?
school.
No.
Yeah, school. Then you got the wise idea. Somebody you heard somewhere that the Earth was flat and there was some weird shit going on. So you got on the fucking internet
No, that's not true. Again,
from a Time magazine,
no, listen.
encyclopedia.
Listen, not all information is found outside of you. Sometimes information is found within you, within your thought process, within your head. So
Oh
listen
my
to me.
God! So you made all this up then, huh? It just came to you in a fucking dream one day. All this shit. I'm just shooting from the hip, y'all. This is true because I just came up with it in a fucking thought one day.
No, what I'm saying is it starts with an idea. And that idea is that everybody who told me that the world is round, they told me via a curriculum given to them by the government.
Uh-huh.
So I question
Where did the idea
what.
of flat Earth come from to you, and all this weird shit that you say happens? Where did you get all this information from?
So at some point in my life, when I became an adult, I've just at some point in my life, when I became an adult, I decided to become a critical thinker. So to become a critical thinker, you have to form an opinion based off of several different factors. Yes, some of that information was received via the internet, but some of that information was also received by peer-reviewed interviews, peer-reviewed documentaries that
Explain to the people what peer-reviewed means.
it means that it has been researched, looked into, cited, and agreed upon. So I rest my case, Your Honor. Thank you very much. The world is flat.
No, so
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that of all the things that I've said in this 2-hour flat Earth special that we've got going on right now, You're not like you don't see nothing. You don't see it at all. Like the big picture.
No. I'm intrigued on what flat earthers find outside of the plate. That's all I'm interested in.
They will not be able to get that information.
I don't see anything relevant in any of it.
I just told you what's on the other side of it.
Yeah, because you found it on the internet somewhere?
No, because I'm a smart guy, and I've listened. So okay, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Okay.
Like the Illuminati.
No, so at some point in my life, I became what is called sensitive. Are you familiar with this term?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Listen, don't you dare disrespect my what I have going on over here with your shitty attitude.
What I have going over, you don't even know what to call it because it's the most asinine thing ever.
So because I'm self-aware, I'm able to
Sensitive.
yeah, I'm able to sense things.
Uh-huh.
I'm a good judge of character. I can read people like a book. I can read vibes. So, I see auras.
Do you?
Yeah. And yours is kind of fucking black right now, to be honest with you.
It's probably just a black shirt that I have on.
It's probably you're kicking off this vibe because you got your a new little ball cap on. And it's white, dude. Are you the type of guy that can wear white hats?
Obviously.
Yeah, do you wear it to work?
No. Duh. It's white, motherfucker. If I worked at work, it wouldn't be white. It would be dingy.
Yeah.
Wear it to
I
work.
I'm sure that word dingy will be used when describing it in 2 months. All right. Well, I've had enough. I've said enough. I've pled my case. And so if you guys, anybody that's listening, if you have anything you want to add or you want to comment on anything, feel free to reach out to us. So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Two,
really,
2.5 hours later.
yeah, I'd really appreciate if you do a little bit more research though, because kind of feel like you didn't have a leg to stand on the whole time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I like you to come prepared. I mean, I'm trying to have, huh?
That's the way you felt, huh?
Well, I mean, I just feel like I just
Like I feel like we both brought knives to gunfights here.
I don't know. I feel like I won. I feel like the champion.
Yeah, see, I feel the same way.
I feel like I need to walk around with my fists up in the air, pumping them.
Nah. You didn't win anything. This is not a win or lose situation.
Well, let's do this. If to our listeners, if you don't mind, we have an Instagram. You go on our or Twitter. What is it? At Paycheck in Red.
Instagram is at Paycheck and Red Podcast. Twitter is at Paycheck and Red.
Yes. So go in there and just let us know who sounded cooler when we were talking, and and did we make you think about some things? Are you questioning the things that we just talked about? Are you questioning everything that you've ever been taught? Because if you are, then you're doing all right.
I doubt it.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Conversations with Paycheck and Red. We always enjoy doing these little things for all of our listeners out there, and we appreciate y'all tuning in and participating in all of our social media platforms. And just for those who have been living under a rock or maybe under on the other side of flat Earth, on the bottom side of it, maybe that's in another dimension. Maybe that's like upside down world.
It's a waste of space to me, man. You
Yeah.
get use out of a round Earth than you do a flat one. You get all that wasted space underneath.
Yeah. So if you feel like you're just running around on a round ball that's zipping through space at thousands and thousands of miles an hour on axis, surrounded by other little planets and stars and things. Just having a gay old time. Feel free to drop us a little line and tell Uncle Paycheck how dumb he is for even humoring the idea of Earth being flat.
All right, so Billy D, you done over there?
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I enjoyed this, man. Thank you.
Yeah. That's all we got time for, folks.
See ya!
Later.
You've been listening to the Conversations with Paycheck and Red podcast. Check out Paycheck and Red on Facebook at Paycheck and Red, Instagram at Paycheck and Red podcast, and Twitter at Paycheck and Red. And don't forget, paycheckandred.com, where you can buy merch, you can subscribe to the podcast, and you can listen to the podcast.
You don't listen to the heavyweight chumps? Well, they're only the greatest podcast that wrestles with pop culture. You don't believe us? Well, listen to some of their fans. And for those of you that don't speak cricket, here's our translator, Mr. Harlan T. Bobo.
It's like cotton candy in my ears right now, man.
The Heavyweight Chumps. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Every Monday and Thursday, same fat time, same fat channel.
Drama City Productions.
It's a podcast network that brings you several genres of podcasts: movie reviews, true crime, comedy, interviews, and much more. Visit DramaCityProductions.com to find all the amazing shows today. Find Drama City Productions on Twitter and Instagram at DCP Network. And stay in touch with the network and all the podcasts available. DramaCityProductions.com, where podcasting lives.